How can you just start when you're feeling totally stuck? Having also dealt with overwhelm, procrastination, perfectionism, I know exactly what it feels like to be totally stuck and not get that project off the ground. Whether you're struggling with something in business or in your personal life or creative endeavor, I know what it feels like, and I know the frustration that comes from not being able to gain that momentum and take action. Most of the common knowledge that we found are all around breaking things down into small steps, visualizing the process, remembering your why, and though all of them are useful, I found that there's one huge hack that's a total game changer. And in this short episode, I'm going to share this huge hack that has totally changed my life and the life of my clients to support them to finally take action on a project or something in their life that is important and meaningful. One of the huge blocks and one of the main reasons that we struggle to finally take action is related to our relationship with suffering and pain. Suffering is this background chronic pain that we feel by not taking action, not progressing on something, procrastinating. We've all felt this background anxiety and lull, and it is difficult and annoying, but yet, and this is probably not to our advantage, we are able to tolerate huge amounts of suffering. This is why we can have entire years or decades where we're not taking any action towards our health, maybe not changing our diet or exercising, we're not kicking off a project that's super important for us, or starting that hobby or creative idea we've meant to do for years, or finally get that startup off the ground, that startup idea, or maybe just an area in our business that we've been wanting to develop and we just put it off. Because we're able to tolerate this background suffering because on the moment, it doesn't affect our survival. On the moment, it's okay, it's tolerable. And what's one more day when we've been procrastinating for a decade, right? This is why we struggle, because this lack of taking action accumulates and we start to get used to this background lull, suffering, anxiety, and it makes it all the harder to take action, because with taking action, there is most often fear involved, and that fear is greater on the moment than putting up with that suffering. And it's because we're able to tolerate this chronic background suffering that we struggle to finally step out of it and take action. The key here, the great huge hack here, is to turn this chronic suffering into acute pain. Because we're good at tolerating background suffering, but we're not very good at tolerating acute pain. If something becomes suddenly really painful, if we suddenly feel that our life is at stake, then we take action. And this is what you see when people have huge paradigm shifts, because they suddenly have the doctor telling them that they absolutely must change their diet or start to exercise, or they'll only live a few more months, or where there's a huge financial fear and then suddenly the business owner steps in and takes action, or people suddenly feel that they don't have as long to live, and so they finally start that creative idea that they've been meaning to their entire lives, because suddenly that background suffering has turned into acute pain. The great news is you don't need to wait for this huge paradigm shift. You can create it within yourself. So here's the hack. You want to turn the pain of inaction into and make it bigger and greater than the pain of action. And the way you do this is you visualize 5 years from now, how will you feel if you haven't made any progress or taken any action in that one area? Think of that one specific project or area in your life that you've been putting on hold and not taking action towards, and project yourself 5 years from now and visualize not taking any action and how you feel about it. Most of the time in those moments, you'll feel huge pain, disappointment, anger, frustration, and we don't want to minimize it. We want to use this as a fuel and turn it into that force and that energy to get you to start. And it can be quite painful when you see this, and it's not a question of feeling guilt for not having made any progress so far, or feeling resentment towards yourself. You accept that this is the current status, Forgiveness helps you to make peace with the lack of progress so far. And yet, you're not willing to tolerate one more day because you've projected yourself 5 years from now. You've seen what your life will look like, or your business, or anything in your life. If you don't make progress on that project, you feel that pain, and it acts as a fuel and a motivator to get you started. What you can add to this as an extra dose of motivation that's a little nicer is to then equally visualize how will you feel, what will your life look like if you do make progress, if you start taking those baby steps, if you find momentum and energy and fuel to make that project grow and get off the ground. How will you feel then 5 years from now? And equally feel the joy, the lightness, the energy that comes from making progress. We want to use both the pain and the gain. So the pain of not taking action and the gain of finally making progress and taking action, and use both of these as our motivators to gain that momentum and get started. What's important to note here is the pain is so much more motivating than gain. This is how we're wired, most of us always, and this is simply due to our survival mechanism. So we're more fueled by pain. This is why we want to really emphasize and turn that chronic background suffering into acute pain. And this helps us to feel motivated and energized. The gain of taking action and seeing progress is just a cherry on the top. It's a nice little thing to remind yourself, okay, it's really worth doing. If you're able to fully visualize this, to integrate it into your system, to use this as a motivator and a reminder when you're feeling stuck, you will change your whole life. You can do it one area at a time. That one big project that you've been really putting on hold, that you know you've been procrastinating on and so important for you, you begin with that, and then you can use that same mechanism for changing things in your health, for changing certain relationships, and look at all of them and use that mechanism and that imagination really of visualizing different scenarios to feel the acute pain. Most of the time we avoid it. Most of the time we want to numb the background anxiety, suffering, frustration we feel from not taking motivation, not being motivated, not taking action on these important projects. Most of the time we want to numb it. But when we numb it, we also numb the pain that will happen when we don't see any projects or any progress over years and years, and we want to change this. We actually want to feel that pain because it acts as a fuel, it acts as a catalyst to help us to get the project off the ground. So instead of numbing it, we bring it into the light. We realize, oh wow, this is so important for me, this is so meaningful, I really want to do something about it. And from that place, it is so easy to start, and it's so easy to take that first baby step, and from there, gain that momentum, get things off the ground, and finally see that we're making progress in that area that we'd put on hold forever. Once more, forget about the guilt, about things that haven't happened until now. Guilt will not help you. Forgive yourself for anything that you haven't made progress on until now. And then from this place, visualize, use both the pain and gain mechanism as this hack to get you to feel this urge to take action. And then you can begin that project. I hope this has been useful for you. This is a huge hack. It has had such a transformational effect in my own personal life and also the life of my clients and people around me. I know that it is incredibly powerful. It's also very tough emotionally when you do this. So remember forgiveness and no guilt about the past, and visualize the future and see that it is also possible when you do the gain visualization. And this will give you that fuel to get things started, get things moving. And I wish you all the best with that, whatever project that is on your mind and that you want to progress on. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're new, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or to Spotify. This is the best way to support my work and to ensure that I show up every single week. Thank you so much for tuning in.